Today marks 200 years of railways, and to celebrate I thought I'd tell you what the railways mean to me. So if you didn't know, today marks 200 years since the first ever train ran on the Darlington and Stockton Railway, and it's a pretty big milestone, and there's been all sorts of things celebrating Railway 200. So today I thought I'd tell you some stories and some memories I have with the railways. For me, the love of railways started when I was very young. I often remember watching lots of Thomas the Tank Engine on VHS tapes and playing with all sorts of wooden train sets like Brio and things like that. I remember bugging my parents to watch Thomas on the TV or be able to play with my train toys, and I found myself being entertained for hours. When I was growing up, I would often go and visit my granddad who had a model railway. I would love that he'd show me his new Hornby sets and I'd be able to give a go with the trains on the track. When I was around about 6 years old, he actually took me to the National Railway Museum in York, and being able to see the trains I'd driven on the model railway in real life was absolutely mind-blowing. It wasn't until I moved to Yorkshire a couple of years back that I actually went to the National Railway Museum once again, and it'd been around about 15 years since I'd been, and the same nostalgia hit me when I walked in. Also, whilst growing up, the railways have played an important part in my childhood. Because my parents lived a few towns apart, the main way to travel between the two was via train, and I'd often remember my mum picking me up for a weekend and we'd travel on Class 323s, 350s and Voyagers all across the West Midlands. This would usually be the highlight of my week, to be able to see my mum and also travel on a train, and I absolutely loved it growing up. When I was a teenager, the railways were the main way to go and visit my friends. I would often find myself travelling all across the country on trains, and I'd be fascinated when I found something new. I have many memories of changing over at Shrewsbury train station, and whilst I waited for my connection, I'd often do a bit of train spotting. I do remember one time seeing a rail tour pull into Shrewsbury, and I was absolutely blown away. It was funnily enough the first ever time I'd seen a steam train on the main line. In more recent years, I've explored my passion for the railways virtually. Since COVID, I found myself playing a lot of train related games and also watching loads of railway related content creators. In games like Train Sim World, it really appealed to me that I could drive routes like Birmingham Cross City and be able to relive some memories. Being able to express my passion for the railways virtually actually inspired me to become a railway related content creator. Whilst on this content creating journey, I have met some wonderful like-minded people who have loved the railways as much as me. I've had the chance to attend more heritage railway lines, and I've started doing more train spotting on the main lines as well. This year alone, I've attended more heritage railway lines than I have ever done before, and I've absolutely loved every moment of it. And of course, the cherry on top of all of that was the Greatest Gathering. That event really made me realise how much the railways mean, not just to me, but to many other people as well. So now I ask you, what do the railways mean to you? Let me know your stories in the comments. And of course, here's to 200 years of railways.